welcome to I'm Loving Life podcast. I'm here with Tim, and we have a great guest, Brad. Signarama, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
awesome.
I listen to podcasts. I've never sat in on one. This is kind of a new experience. So, yeah, thanks for
You
inviting
got
me.
audio and video, so
Yeah, if I'd have known that, I would have slicked my hair.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, it looks like you could be a movie star.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Got the
like,
hair
I'm
for it
straight
and
up with
everything.
it.
You can get a long way in life with a decent sense of humor and a good head of hair. So
okay.
I'm living
See,
for
I didn't wear
blessing.
hats.
no
because
other
of that.
tangible skills, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Well, my dad and his dad all are bald, and my dad's not bald yet, but he's getting that way.
Yeah.
Ever since I knew that, I was not wearing hats. I was
Yeah.
like, never again.
Because that's a rumor, right? If you wear hats, you go bald.
No, it's true.
It's true.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm the only one out of my brothers that have hair left. All the rest of them are receding. So I rub it in their face every Thanksgiving, Christmas, but that's about as bad as I get. So
Well, back to you.
Yeah.
So you went through a franchise, right?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in that? So Signarama is a huge company. They're amazing. They're on the south side. Can I go into that?
Yeah. So I mean, I up until 5 years ago, I was a sales rep. I did medical sales forever. I mean, I didn't know anything about. I knew what a sign was.
Yeah.
I knew roughly how they, attached to a wall, those kind of things, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I needed a career change, and we can talk about that a little bit. But I just needed to kind of make a change in what I was doing. I knew what I was doing I could not do forever. So in the back of my mind, I always thought about buying a business or starting a business. I read a book one time that talked about the benefits of buying a business versus starting one.
Right.
And at my age, I'm 54. So at the time I was pushing 50. I was like, maybe it's time to.
Oh, this is recent.
Yeah, 5 years ago. So Signarama.
What? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you've had it for years.
Yeah, so Signarama OKC. So Signarama, big umbrella, is a worldwide franchise. There's like 800 Signarama franchises
really?
worldwide. Yeah, I own the one in South OKC. It's been there. This is our 18th year. So I'm the third owner. First owner built it, started it up, did a great job. Retired. The next owner, he did an okay job, but he was trying to run it as an absentee owner, which. This is not that kind of job, if you know.
Not if you live in Oklahoma.
Right, yeah. So I bought it 5 years ago, made a career change, and we've been off and running ever since. So I had to learn from square one. I inherited a team. I bought in January of 2020. COVID hit in March.
oh man.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
That's about
huge.
10
Well
years
done.
worth of business experience,
Yeah.
you've gotten
for
going
sure.
through
I mean,
COVID.
I tell people, it was a blessing that, because I did my due diligence. I was like, I researched, you go through all the books and you're like, all right, this looks like you can't fake it for 14 years. So I figured it was a pretty relatively safe investment. So let's see if we can grow it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad my closing was in January and not in May, because I would have chickened out.
Right.
If so, it worked out fine. But I mean, it was like January, and then March COVID hit.
What?
Fun fact: I was in a networking meeting. I don't know if we can talk about it.
Yeah,
I was at a
whatever.
Centers for a meeting. First Centers for a meeting I ever went to. I was there with like the patient number 7 in the state of Oklahoma that had COVID. So I'm setting up my desk in my office, and I get a call from the Oklahoma Department of Health. And they're like, "Were you at a meeting last week?" And I'm like, "Is this a joke?" "Yeah, sir, you need to go." That was when we didn't know anything about it. So I had to go quarantine, legit quarantine for 10 days. So I just sat at home. My new business is over here somewhere on the south side. I'm like, I have no idea what's
Holy
happening.
cow.
This is crazy.
So my
timing.
my memory for COVID was when it really hit realization, right? Was when the Thunder game was about to start.
Yeah.
The staffer runs onto the court, grabs all of them, and then I was like, oh crap, this is real.
Yeah.
So for you, when that happens, right, and then you just started this business, what was that thought for you? What went through your head?
So it's funny because that all happened at the same time. Because I remember that night I had just got engaged. So all of these things were like coming at once, but it worked out fine. It's kind of funny how things work out. But at the time, I didn't, you just have no idea. And everybody's throwing around, are you what was the term they used, if you could go to work or if you could
Essential
not go?
worker.
Essential. Yeah, are you essential? I'm like, I don't know, I feel essential.
Yeah.
You look at the
I got
list.
to run a business on essential.
You look at the list and it says communications, and I was like, all right, we're essential. So it probably long term, because I had to kind of make some staffing changes, which probably would have happened at some point anyway. So then you come out, and then 6 months later we were rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
It was, being in Oklahoma during all that was better than being in New York. I mean, we turned the lights on pretty quick after that. But
And just any business owner that went through that experience, there's no playbook that says if this happens,
no way.
you must do this.
Yeah.
And like the people that actually powered through that moment were very successful. I mean, we were very successful but it's still part of you is like, man, like you look back and you're like, will that ever happen again in my life?
Yeah.
That you have no idea what you're about to do. So that's huge.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you sure hope not, but at least you can survive it. You can do. I mean, we took a big hit from the year before I bought it to that year. It was a big dip, but we kept the lights on, kept everybody that I wanted to keep
So what does your new
and then
fiance say?
Yeah, so
what's her name?
Yeah, her name's Amanda.
So
yeah.
what's up, Amanda?
Yeah.
Well done. Stay with me.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. No, she was very supportive. I mean, but
What
we
does she
all
do?
we
Do
all
you mind if I ask what she
No,
does?
she's PhD. She's she's a therapist by trade, but she's one of those really altruistic people that's truly, good person.
So I bet that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if she's a therapist. Man.
So did y'all, how long, when you went and got engaged, when did you guys get married? Was it in 2020?
So we dated for a couple years, and then if I get the dates wrong, this is going to get fact checked, and then I'm going to have to
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
have to deal
We
with
can
it.
edit it.
Yeah, we'll edit it. It'll be okay.
We'll have a voiceover.
Can we go back and read this? No, we got married in July of 2020. So we got married during COVID. We had a small backyard wedding, and it was
You got to quarantine
good stuff.
Quarantine. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So dang it, we can only invite 20 people. Oh,
Shoot. Yeah. No,
I
it
saved
was
a
good.
bunch
It
of
was
money.
good. I mean, it's one of those things you hope it doesn't ever happen again. But
No.
we've got some cool stories to tell about it, and you persevere and you keep going.
So your shop. So my dad actually lived in the neighborhood north of you. Like her, his mom, all his sisters, and a little 3-bedroom house, and the movie theater right across the street.
Winchester Drive-In.
Man, we went there all the time.
Okay.
The guys, it was awesome. I remember, anyway, it was a good time to go back there because, and they still show movies there.
Oh, yeah, all the time. And I use that sign as an example of the power of good signage because I'll be talking to people. I'll be like, so that Winchester Drive-In sign? Everybody's like, oh, yeah, the cowboy. And I'm like, that's why good signage is important because everybody knows where that's at.
Yeah.
So we're at I-240 in Southwestern. Yeah.
Golly.
So we touched on this earlier, but what's the biggest, gnarliest job you've had?
That might have been the gnarliest one.
I'm just saying. It's intense.
That was probably one of the more. I mean, we have. So the nature of our job is 80% of what we do is custom. Some things come through the door and they're pretty straightforward. I've got a logo. I need a banner. Yeah, we can knock that out in a day. But then we have some things where customer will call or we'll get an inquiry on the website saying, can you do this thing? And we're like, yeah, we can absolutely do it. And you hang up the phone and you're like,
Oh, no.
how are we going to pull this off? So the one we talked about was we had a call from the FAA. It was probably 2020 because this thing took forever to kind of get through the process. And I think they probably shut down for a while. But it was to put graphics on a Boeing 747. Big graphic package.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was about 65 to 70 feet long from the nose to behind one of the wings. And it's a stationary plane because we had to look. We were like, I don't think we can put vinyl on a airplane. They were like, don't worry. It's like a medical training airplane that they have. It's grounded. The wings are cut off halfway back. And but yeah, it's a full size 747. And it was old. It had been sitting there and it had a couple decals on the nose. And it had some old decals. It was actually probably more paint than anything on the body and then something up on the tail. And so the tail was probably 60 feet off the ground. So all the site surveys, measuring, everything was done from a man lift, just trying to get sizing and points of reference. And
So that's the biggest, gnarliest one. Is that like the one that you like? I remember this one.
that one would probably, because
Top
that one checked so many boxes because it was very
Right.
technical. We posted it on Facebook when we got it done. And getting the graphics right, we all just kind of, you say your prayers and then you hit print. And then I had a couple of Signarama owners reach out and they were like, "Did you really wrap that plane?" I was like, "Yeah, we did that."
Heck yeah.
Did you get any business off of that?
I don't know if we did directly.
Okay.
There's not a big market for wrapping a Boeing 747, but it's one of those feather in your cap that we'll probably bring it up on occasion
For
on
sure.
Facebook, just kind of rehash it. Be like,
Do they
"Don't forget we
normally
did this."
paint planes when they?
Yeah, so I don't know about I don't know about now, but the one that we did, I mean, we had to get up there and measure it, and it looked and felt like paint to me. Yeah, they actually had to repaint that plane before we wrapped it because it was just it was a mess. So, yeah, it was a big process, but yeah,
that's huge. Man, talk about experience.
What about like a project that was smaller but just very intense? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
You know, it's funny because you have like, so at what we do, I mean, we'll have some projects that are really big that go crazy smooth, and then we have some that it's like you just feel like, and you guys probably have examples of this too, where it's like it should be a straightforward job and you just feel like you're a little bit snake bit, and you have to fight through it and get it right, and if you make a mistake you go back and do it again. I mean, we had a job like that last week at at an event where there was some, we got wires crossed with the customer in terms of art files and sizing and things like that, but you just, I've told customers before, we won't get it right 100% of the time the first time, but we'll fix it every time. I mean, we're not gonna leave you
That's
hanging.
a good slogan.
Yeah. So,
are you more the creative side, or do you just the boss side? Because the buck stops with you regardless, whatever happens. So if it goes sideways, you're like, all right, I'll fix it. You'll figure it out. But do you like the creative side?
So I like the thought of it. I'm not a creative person by nature. I'm a sales guy. I mean, that's my background, and I've kind of evolved in owning a business because when I bought the shop, it's like we just kind of jumped on the bull and held on for dear life and trying to learn, and doing a little bit of everything. And then I've evolved. It's funny. I listen to podcasts, and I don't know about you guys, but listen, and people are talking about systems and processes and scaling and things, and I'm like, yeah, we need to do that. And then I'm like, I don't even know what is that even? I don't even know what that means.
It's hard.
Googling systems and processes. So
KPIs.
Right. Yeah. So the business, and I mentioned earlier, it's kind of slowing down for me mentally, not from a revenue standpoint, but to the point where I can be a little bit more systematic. I need to be focused on
the business,
the things I'm good at. Like, let's grow this business, and how do we grow it? How do we protect our margins? How do we do all the things that you need to do as a business owner?
Right.
I need to spend less time on ladders. I'm a sales guy, so I want to be out in front of customers and handling that stuff. So it's evolving. I'm trying to get it that way.
But like a business usually fails in the first 3 to 5 years, and you've already passed. I mean, you're on that path to grow past it, and but that COVID back then took you that COVID, 3 years alone.
Yeah.
So I believe you're already past that.
You get 3 to 5 years of credit just for going through COVID. Okay.
Exactly.
It's funny. I would talk to people at the end of 2020, and they were like, "Well, how'd your first year go?" And I'm like, I don't know what a KPI was. I didn't know metrics. I was like, I've got a little bit more money in my bank account than I did when I started the year, so I think that's a good thing. And it's like,
that's all right,
you do the happy dance. So now I'm trying to get a little bit more, in depth with trying to figure out the metrics that can make us grow. But
so in your shop, you can do everything in house. So creativity. So you have somebody that does that, somebody that raps. So what's the process for someone that's even thinking about going that route, especially for a first-time business owner or even a older business owner that needs to rebrand? What would that process look for you? How did that process for them to actually make that change? Because didn't Jolly Goat go through that process?
So
I don't know if we can drop the name, but I'm going to because you rocked that one.
Jeff was
Jeff's
just going to be on.
But I'm saying you rocked that. And it's really outside the box, and that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, they've got a great design. So we do, just like from a service offering, we do a little bit of everything. We're a full service sign shop. We do everything from interior to exterior signage. We do vehicle wraps. We do a lot of vehicle graphics. We do more business to business. We don't really do, like if somebody calls and says, I need my 1988 Datsun 280ZX wrapped in carbon fiber, we don't mess with personal vehicles for the most part. I mean, there are exceptions. If I know
just yours.
So we do a little bit of everything. We don't do everything in house. We're probably 70% in house, 30% out of house. I mean, we just we have some things that we don't have the capacity to fabricate. We don't do like monument signs in front of a casino. There are sign shops that focus on those kind of things. It's a completely different animal. So, but we do everything. Retail shops, signs on down. It's enough to keep us busy. I have 5 employees. I got myself. I've got a full-time graphic designer.
Yeah.
I've got a customer service rep, general manager, 2 production guys.
Isn't that nuts to say that you're doing that all for those families?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And everybody in my shop. We've got one new hire, but Everybody's been there 2 years plus. Yeah. It's kind of funny. My team, my general manager and I, I'm 54. We're the older ones in the group, but then everybody else I've hired, and you go out and you start hiring, and you're like, you're looking for certain experience. Anyway, everybody on my team they're 20 somethings. Yep. They're gritty. They just keep showing up. We've got a good team. They keep me young.
It's nuts because everybody says like you can't find people to hire. Well, if you turn your focus on that hire, then you'll start looking for those people. It's just like if I told you look around this room and look at everything that's white, you'll look at everything white and I'll be like, okay, what was blue? And you're like, oh wait, I was looking at the white.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like you focus on, hey, I need a designer. We got a designer. Like we need a videographer for here. So we like put our feelers out, that kind of thing. And we got lucky with Andre, and he's part of our team now. Yep. But like we focus on it, and just like your case, like
I kept procrastinating on that too, and it was just that night, and they kept asking me, well, "Hey, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it?" And I remember building the job posting on Indeed, and then I hit click, close the keyboard. All right, we'll look at this tomorrow. And then it had 16 applicants, right? And then he called. And it's all just worked out like so well. Yeah. It's definitely like a huge blessing, you know.
So he saw the ad and he called you?
Yeah.
See, those are the kind of people that it's like, if I could give any advice to anybody that's looking for a job, it's like just show up. I mean, you'd be surprised how many times like in my experience, you have 50 people apply. 20 will show up for the first Zoom interview or whatever you do. And then, it's just like, if you'll just show up, and then the people that I ultimately hired, they either call or they follow up or they send a simple thank you note. It's like, it's the easy things. It's like just.
Well, I remember Jessica, I didn't even know about, but so he didn't call me, he called her. Yeah. Her number was on the ad, but he called her and basically asked for an interview.
Yeah.
And Jessica's telling me this. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't gone through the list. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing due diligence. And she's like, well, he really wanted to come for an interview, so he's coming at 10. I was like, okay. And it just worked out beautifully.
Right. Because in your mind, you've got your process. You're like, I'm going to do it this way. But then the guy.
Right. Yeah, I was going to go through all the applications, and make my way, pick through that, do the process. But nope, first one, Yeah. And Joseph was actually out of country on one of the trips, supplier trips. And then he gets back, we're like, by the way, we have a videographer now. He's like, what? This all happened? What's going on?
But if you really do focus on it, and it's crazy. The younger generation is coming in. I mean, our average guy is probably 27, maybe.
Yeah.
But they show up. They work hard. Now, our sales guys are a little older. But we have a good team. Yeah. So, I understand. Sometimes you just got to mix.
Yeah.
You look like you're not that. Look like you're 55. Everybody's going to look at it and see.
Yeah, I moisturize.
Yeah, you go.
That's what he does. So are you still the salesperson for your business, or what has your experience been with if you've tried to hire somebody for that role? What has that kind of felt like for you?
Yeah, so I've tried to hire a salesperson a couple of times, and I didn't really, in hindsight, I probably didn't set him up for success, if I'm being honest with it. Okay. And a lot of it's been because of as busy as I am, not being able to give them the support. Fully staffed, we've got 6 people, so there's not a lot of downtime, right. And so I kind of changed my thinking. Like, I don't always want to be the full-time salesperson, but if somebody needs to follow up on a lead or somebody calls in, somebody's got to go out and take a picture of the building and do the measurements. I'll take care of that, and I'll let the guys who are, good at what they do, building the signs, and they can stay back at the shop. At some point, I would like to get everything kind of settled down, get everybody in their places, and then hire somebody so I can spend time with them. And there's a lot of opportunity, and we're just trying to
one day at a time,
trying to do it the right order.
How does it feel for you to, with the sales part, right? So their first contact. A lot of times with your customers. Oh, yeah. So how does that feel with being able to fully trust them to represent you and your brand?
Yeah, and I think that's been part of my problem is I have standards. Like, my customer service rep is probably the closest thing I have right now to a salesperson, and her and I work alongside great, and she kind of, and I have, some. you don't want somebody to do exactly what you would do. I mean, she's a 20-something person that's got her skill set and she's very talented. She does a great job. So the last thing I want to do is make her like me, So, but you want somebody to, to have the follow-up and the, written communication and the speed and getting back with people and following up on estimates and stuff. So you try to coach that, but it's going to be a sticking point for me long-term that I'm going to have to kind of check because, I'm going to want somebody to do it how I would do it, exactly. But that's probably not a good.
It was really there's plenty of cool things you can do, but there was one thing he brought at Centersphere. It had a little sign that showed how many likes he had. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you still messing with that?
So we've got a little counter at the shop. I think it's called Smurl. I think is the name of it's like SMIIRL, but it tracks to our Facebook page. And so if you like our Facebook page, you can. If you're in our shop, you hit like it'll.
It's like a third party connect. Yeah, it connects.
I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah,
I thought that was y'all. I thought that was you that made it, but
that would be cool. Yeah, no, give that up to Smurl. But we do have one of those. No, that's all right.
I just remember seeing the Centerfield. I was like, this guy's got it. He's got it right now.
Amazing.
Yeah. But so let's realistically. So if I came in your shop, you're like, okay. Let's sit down. What do you really want to do? Is there a range for the business owner or person? Like, hey, you need at least $1,500 to get you started.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, so like
just a logo change or something.
Yeah, I mean, so we have, I tell people we're not a graphic design shop. If they want us to work on their logo, 95% of what we do, a customer comes to us, they've got a logo, we're creating their signage with it. But if you want to come in, I've got a graphic designer. Yeah. I've got some freelance designers that I can pull into. So you talked about Jolly Goat. Great team. We wrapped all of their trucks. The rebranding went great. They actually had a company out of New Jersey that did their design. Okay. So and if you talk to Jeff, which I'm sure you will, he'll tell you that story. But they went through a full legit, year-long.
It's like 6 months or a year or something like that?
It's a pretty cool story. Yeah. But that design, I can't remember the name of that company, but they came to us like when he had his brand. He was like, "Here's our brand. Here's our." Like big corporations have their brand guidelines and they have their colors and you got to be tight on those and they want their trucks to look a certain way. So we had to pull that off, but the actual creating the logo, that was Jeff and that. Yeah.
So do you see the future for you?
Yeah, we could do that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what's the next 5 years for you?
Yeah, so right now we're working on, trying to grow and grow smart, right? Yeah. We got through the end of the last year and it was the biggest year we'd ever had. And it was kind of one of those you run through the finish line and you kind of look back and you're like, my first reaction as a salesperson was, all right, here's our goal for this year. But then I take a step back and I'm like, all right, how do we do this and how do we make it make sense and how do we do it without running my employees off and, killing my desire to want to, so I'm trying to do it smart. This year I'm working on more habits and systems and processes instead of top line goals, right? So I want to get that tightened down. So in the next 5 years, if we need to scale up and add, in order to do more graphic design shop type things, it would probably require another graphic designer. So I would like to build it to where we've got a team of people, multiple graphic designers, more install people. Just kind of scaling it to that extent. That's what I'm trying to focus on now. Being a sales rep, I was used to, you have a quota, that's your number, you chase it all year. At the end of the year, if you hit it, you do the happy dance, and then you wake up 2 days later, and they're like, "Here's your number," right? And so, that's one reason why I don't do that anymore. Yeah. So that was my mentality when I came in, but I'm, now it's like, all right,
you're running a business.
There's goals or there's habits and there's process. It's like, let's try to do this the right way. So, yeah.
It's just amazing. Like, as you grow, you see those steps and then you look back and you're like, wow, I accomplished them, but how can we make it better? That's really good as a business owner that you look back and check yourself. Okay, well, that really sucked. Let's do this next time. Yeah. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
What okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. So I know you like cigars.
I do like cigars.
Favorite cigar brand? Favorite cigar? If you go and pick one.
So there's it's something Levita. I can tell you, I've got a picture of it. I'm not a brand guy. My oldest son will kill me. I can't think of. I could point it to you.
Yeah.
Second Street Cigars, Long Island. Bought that shop. it'll come to me as soon as we're off. Yeah.
Do you have
I'm more
the
of a
one
whiskey
that's-
guy than a
okay.
cigar guy? Like if you
Okay.
ask me what guy are
Then you could name that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a. I started a whiskey tasting club in Kansas City.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that's, I like.
Joseph's about to go to Buffalo Trace
nice.
and do a tour.
That'd be cool.
I'm about to do that
Yeah.
and go to Woodford, all those places up there.
Do you snub Buffalo Trace as a savant?
No, I like it. I don't. I think it's. I think they've done a good job with their branding. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I think it's very good. I'm more Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is
Okay.
probably my favorite bourbon.
Okay.
But I like Scotch. I like
Angel's Envy.
I like rye. Yeah, Angel. It's good. Yeah, they're great at branding.
Okay.
Great at branding.
Yeah.
I just like if you asked me what my favorites are, it wouldn't. It would be a little.
It wouldn't be
different.
anything. Yeah.
But I like Buffalo Trace. I keep it in my decanter quite frequently.
Do you hit up the cigar shop that's across the highway from you, like a little south of you? Amarita, I think is what it's called.
I don't know that one. If I'm getting cigars, I go to the one on 2nd Street, which Alan bought, which I've been going there for.
Okay, the
for
one over
years.
here up the
Edmond.
street from Eddie's.
Yeah.
Okay, he bought that, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
didn't know
think
that.
that's the one he bought, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
He just announced it a couple weeks ago, so it's like, yeah, that's cool.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah.
So think of things that fill you up. So other than whiskey and
cigars, yeah, and wrapping
what really
747.
does fill you up so that your batteries are energized,
Yeah.
you're ready to go to work. Besides your lovely wife.
Right.
Other than
Yeah.
that, so
hobby wise, I love golf. It's that's
Really?
one of my passions. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
didn't
I've got two grown boys. They're men now. They're 20. She said they're 29, 25. Yeah,
They don't work with you?
No, they don't. They're gainfully employed. They're married. I've got 2 grandbabies.
Do they all live here?
So my oldest son lives in Oklahoma City, and my youngest son lives in Kansas City. So when I was in pharmaceutical medical sales, I bounced around a little bit. So we were in Wichita. We were actually Edmond to Connecticut, to Wichita, Kansas, to Kansas City, and then I moved back here.
Okay.
And so my youngest son lives in Kansas City still. Yeah, got married within the last year. Just bought a house. Yeah, they're living the dream, doing great.
Man.
Yeah, so it's a family thing. I've got 2
Yeah.
grandbabies that are amazing.
So that's what fills you up.
Yeah.
Grandbabies,
Oh, yeah.
that's your hobby, golf.
Yeah,
I like it. We
golf and
gotta
family.
hit some golf balls.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a member out at Twin Hills. If you ever want to go play.
Really? I'm down. Let's
like,
pack this thing
All
up.
right,
Let's
leave
go.
it early today. Let's go.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there right now.
I've
too.
never
Yeah.
played there.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have to do it.
I will bring the whiskey.
Okay. I don't know that I've ever played golf on whiskey. Let's see how that turns out.
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Tim's not the golfer, but he likes to go.
No, I like to more socialize and hang out and drive the cart for you. Like that's more my thing.
So if you need a butler,
I will
Yeah.
fill the butler role. No, I really enjoy it. It's just for me,
Yeah.
it's just hanging out on the afternoon. Beautiful lawns to look at and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's one of the
Where's
things
the-
I enjoy doing.
where's the best place you played so far? There's the
Ever? Oh man! So I've got a group of guys that I grew up with. I mean,
Okay.
there's like a group of 8 of us that some of them I've known since we were in kindergarten. It's kind of rare. I've got a group of friends that I've literally grown up with. We go on a annual golf trip. So we've been doing it for 20 plus years. There's been some years in there we've missed, and we kind of rotate it. This year we're going to Wisconsin. I'm going to play Erin Hills, which at that time will probably be the best golf course I've ever played.
that's really awesome.
Yeah. We've played a lot of desert courses in Scottsdale. We've been in Mesquite and played, Wolf Creek and some really fun tracks. And
So what do you think of the Full Swing on Netflix?
it's good. Yeah, we're watching that right now.
I don't like really watching golf, and
Yeah.
now I want to watch golf
Sure.
because of that.
Yeah, I think that's I think that was probably their goal. But my wife's the same way. She keeps up with golf, but yeah, once you kind of lock into one of those people on there that like Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
he was featured, and it's like love that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just inspiring, just because. I mean, did you play sports?
Yeah.
And just that, that focus of like determination of being that good and like that passion, and you'll get hit sometimes, and it shows like they're not hitting well, but they'll
Right.
go out there and just keep at it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. And this last episode was a good kind of a good contrast between him and the other kid. I can't think of his name. Just attitude.
Yeah.
You know, and how you're going to pull it together. And yeah,
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yep.
You good? Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure having you here. I mean, I'm excited to see what you do the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for inviting me over. This place is nice.
At the end of the day, love and life.
Love life.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.